Okay, this tutorial will show you how the observation process will work this year from beginning to end using eDoctrina. So if you've never used eDoctrina before, just go to edoctrina.org and click on the login button. Under district, you only have to do this one time on your computer, but if you type in Geneseo up top, it should save that setting from this point forward. Pick the school that you're logging into and use your normal user login and password for the network. So you can use eDoctrina for lots of different things, but just for the sake of this tutorial, it's for the observation process. Basically, you'd click on observe. So I set this one up so this fake teacher has already scheduled the observation with the administrator or the administrator secretary, and then the observation documents start becoming available. So the pre-observation conference is the documentation that you need to bring to your pre-observation, and that's what we'll start with. So basically all you have to do is click on this little edit button here that says view. And these questions are exactly the same as what we used to transfer back and forth using Microsoft Word. So if you click on that notes template, if you just click on notes, all you're going to do, it's practically a message board. You just say post comment. So the first question is, to which part of the curriculum does your lesson relate? Here is comment 1. After you hit save, you can just close out of this window. And you can see the notes field starts looking different, starts filling in dark when you are filling in these notes. How does it fit in with the sequence of learning for this class? Once again, post comment, type your comments here, hit save. And then once I close out of this, you'll see that those pieces are basically a setup. So I'm going to say cancel and close to that. And now I'm going to log in as what the administrator would see. So this is from the administrator that's doing the observation of that teacher. So if I refresh this page, you can see we have the pre-observation conference, the actual observation, and the post-conference. And if I click on the C for this one, this is once again as the administrator, I could see that the first 2 notes have been commented on, open it up and see what that person said. I can comment back and forth as the administrator if chosen. So that's just for the pre-conference. I'm going to save and close now. So once the observation actually happens, this is how the administrator is going to be doing it. They open up that observation, and you noticed before as the teacher, you didn't see the observation. So it's still in draft mode, for that observation. So the administrator would go through and give you ratings on each one of these categories. And once they've finished and put in comments all the way through, they would take it out of draft mode. And I'm going to say save and close to this. Now this should be viewable for the teacher. So to get the electronic signature started, if the administrator's finished the observation and it's ready to be viewed by the teacher, under this observations tab, I have the ability to sign now. So it says ready for administrator signature. As soon as I click that icon, these are all the things that I could include in the report. I'm not actually going to print it, so I don't really care what that says. I'm just going to say print for it. And it loads a preview window right here of what that observation says and what your scores are going to be down at the bottom of that. So all you have to do is type in your name. And once again, this is the observer and the eDoctrina password. Any comments if you have them? Once I say approve, basically I electronically signed that document as the administrator. So if I go back in as the teacher now, I'll start from scratch. This is that first screen you see in eDoctrina. If I go back to observe now, you can see both the pre-observation conference is done now and the classroom observation. If I want to see the observation, I would click on that little view window. I could print it as well. If I open that up, you see pretty much what the administrator rated you as, and if there was comments, there'd be comments in those fields. So I'm just going to close out of that. My post-conference is coming up. Let's say I'm ready to sign that document. I can just click on this signature once again as the teacher. Type in your name and your eDoctrina password. And if I say return, that's basically returning that observation back to the person who did the observation, and it would be ready for the third signature, which would be Mr. Hayes. So those two pieces are finished now. If I go back into, and the administrator or the administrator secretary would have done this piece of it, but if I go back into that window and say I have the post observation comments and say assign it to the teacher, the observer or the secretary would have to take it out of that draft mode, save and close. So if I go back in as a teacher and refresh this page, you'd see I have a post-conference reflection ready to go. And this would work the same as the pre-conference. I would open it up. I see the same comments that I saw before. I would put those reflections in here, just like a discussion board. Save it. And you can see that it starts filling in those pieces. Once that's closed, all three pieces will basically connect together. The only one that's signed off on is the observation document. It says it's returned to the administrator. As soon as Mr. Hayes signed it, it would say that observation is complete. Once again, this is a new process. We'll work through this together. Let us know if you have any questions. Thanks.